Here. You want to use your own computer for the slides?
What if you have mine?
I can pull it up off my computer.
Well, you're running. Well, because you're running the Zoom too.
Yeah, so you can connect to the Zoom room and just present from your computer.
Let's do it from yours because I have Linux, so it's weird sometimes.
Okay, that's right. I'll pull it up.
Just make. I have my wireless mouse so I can advance the slides.
I have a clicker.
You do? So you're way ahead. You got everything.
I don't know everything. I think for the future, right? Try to predict everything.
You even got a sound reinforcement system.
Yeah. Let's see here. So you sent me. You want the PDF or the PowerPoint?
Let's try the PowerPoint.
Okay. Where you come from today?
I live in the Springs. So everyone got here early. You never know the traffic.
How was it?
It was fine. It was like nothing between Springs and Denver.
Nice.
This was on. You work here? Out of here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Been here since April. So, good location, good environment. Different options. There's the co-working option, so the these open spots.
You could just hang,
It's
grab
like
whatever.
200,
Yeah.
and then they have these pod desks.
Yeah.
So each one's had like two people, 250 for just a spot in one of those.
Yeah.
Then you can have an open desk that's more, and then offices as well.
Yeah. I guess if you want your stuff to be secure, you need to put
Yeah. So the down arrow is the
Okay.
forward, not
Okay.
up.
opposite.
Yeah.
Right.
Depends how you look at
What
life.
about backwards? Is it work?
Up.
It does. Okay, sweet.
So down is you're moving forward. Now I muted myself. Hi. You good?
Yeah, I did this 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Another business I started.
Oh,
But
nice.
it was meeting on another location, totally different people. Right?
Colorado Lending Source.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah. Yeah. Over there.
I'm muted. Oh, I'm not muted in Zoom. I'm muted on my computer.
in the bag, baby. Loud with the pack. Yo, this shit be going crazy. Keep the vibe all wavy. I put it down for the hometown. The whole city rockin' with me now. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I got the whole game like G. I don't even need to say it, you already know. Oh, I funk shit up on it daily. Funk shit. Whole lot of things on this big to-do list. That ain't nothing new, I've been breezing through it. Smash the routine, I'm on the big things. Ice in my veins, can't match the coolness. That's the heat check, earn the respect. I'm so high, ain't even smoke my weed yet. Y'all been stressing, I don't even need that. Living my life, I ain't got no regrets. Who gon' stop me? Roll with the crew like money in the bag, baby. Loud with the pack. Like damn, we nice. Proud more dope than Colombian white. They telling me you can have whatever you like. Cause if you got it like me, that's a hell of a life, yeah. Yo, this shit be going crazy. Keep the vibe all wavy. I put it down for the hometown. The whole city rockin' with me now. Ain't nobody gonna stop me. I got the whole game like G. I don't even need to say it, you already know. Oh, I funk shit up on the daily. Funk shit. Ice in my veins, can't match the coolness. Funk shit up.
Good morning. Good morning. So we're getting started in about 5 minutes or so. A little coffee, there's coffee in the corner, balcony's over there. Say hello me there, make sure you guys on the table. We'll get going in a bit.
Breaking up is probable. Fucking up your makeup and I'm acting like it's comical. You still my baby, know them other bitches lazy, ho. I never let you play me, ho. What you think I'm crazy, ho? Ain't nobody playing me unless it's on the radio. But I probably could still sell a show when I'm 80, ho. Turn up guard and I'm still at large. I just wanna party hard, ball at every cost. And I've been chefing in the kitchen, know you smell a sauce. Stacking records like a weapon, about to let it off. Too focused to be fucking with them wag hoes. Strap close, trying to keep up to this cash flow. We ain't seeing eye to eye, but still my ride or die. And if I win the jail today, you'll take the stand and lie. It's highly possible, baby, that these things you me drive me crazy. It's highly possible, baby, that these things you me drive me crazy. Baby. I'm just out here trying to keep this shit functioning. See them bitches on the gram trying to suck it in. And they just want to suck me off so they could tell a friend. Baka crayons and some Zans and she rate the bands. I got a free spirit, at times it's a flaw. They say that's why I'm a star, guess the diamond off. I line it all while we shoot for the moon. When you a dog above the law, it's kinda hard to be groomed. I'm a real nigga, baby, through it and through. By me keeping it a buck, I'm showing the proof. They say the world want the truth, but they love lies. Smoking weed on the beach while the sun rise. Close my eyes while I think about fun times. 6 a.m. I call you, it ring one time. We ain't seeing eye to eye, but still my ride or die. And if I win the jail today, you'll take the stand and lie. It's highly possible, baby. It's highly possible, baby, that's highly possible, baby. It's highly possible, baby, drive me crazy. Don't think you do me, it's highly possible, baby. That these things you drive me crazy. It's highly possible, baby. That these things you drive me crazy.
Counting down 3, 2, 1. Wanted in the burning sun. Keeping our love in the skies. And the speed for very should jump. 40,000 feet, no clouds. Falling at the speed of sound. Touching on a ocean front. And the speed for very should jump. Yesterday I made all these mistakes. Yesterday I swore I ain't changed. In my head I wanna shout. And I wanna fight to please himself. And I told myself that you made a promise. I got a good, you can let the problems. So I go again. To the blue for 10. Coming down 3, 2, 1. Before you get a burning sun. Up in our in the sky. On the speed for pressure jump. 40,000 feet, no cloud. I'm falling at the speed of sound. Pushing out with survive. On the speed for pressure jump. All the way down, I quit, I'm out of here. Into ocean heaven. Only way I get to as you drown. I quit, I'm out of here. Into ocean heaven. All the way down. Only way I get to as you drown. I quit, I'm out of here. Into ocean heaven. Counting down 3, 2, 1. We're falling in the burning sun. Up in our love in the sky. On the speed for parachute jump. 40,000 feet, no cloud. I'm falling at the speed of sound. Don't you know I will survive? On the speed for parachute jump. On the speed for parachute jump. Coming down 3, 2, 1. Before you in the burning sun. Looking out in the sky. On the speed for parachute jump. 40,000 feet, no cloud. I'm falling at the speed of sound. Pushing up, I'll survive. On the speed for parachute jump. Coming down 3, 2, 1. I'm falling in the burning sun. Keeping our love in the sky. On the speed for parachute jump. 40,000 feet, no cloud. Running at the speed of sound. Touching down ocean ground. And the speed for parachute drop.
on Zoom. Because of all this traction, it's because of the organization team here at Women Cups Denver, myself, Gregarious, Ellie, Josh, Courtney, Joseph. You guys are awesome, doing great work. If you're interested in joining our team, you can put your face next to us. We're also looking for more people to help connect with other entrepreneurs in the Denver area and just other people interested in entrepreneurship as well. Quick shout out to our sponsors, Green Spaces Co-working, where we're at right now, the Perk Coffee, which is what you're drinking as well, Good Elephant, Joining Crowd, Founders Craft, Colorado Main Source, Polar Media, and the Commons on Champa. Let's give them all a big round of applause. Clap, clap, clap. So who's new to 1 Cups today? You two, okay. And who considers themselves a entrepreneur? All right, at least half. Awesome. So I'd like to do quick introductions, looking for 3 volunteers to name what you do, why you're here, just so we can get to know each other a little bit better. Do you have any volunteers? If not, I'm just going to call on people. All right. Good.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Pete. I am an entrepreneur. I've had a company for about 4 months. It's called Fitness Oracle, with the objective of helping endurance athletes find the right products for them based on how they are training. And the reason I'm here is just to kind of learn more people, meet more people in the Denver startup scene, and also just learn more about what my fellow Coloradans are working on.
Everybody, my name is Mitch. I'm the founder of a company called Wit It. It's an app for college students that's its goal is to connect them to their community, each other in a more meaningful way, starting off with connecting the rental properties, roommates, Greek life, stuff like that. It's exclusive to college students. So I'm here for sort of the same reason, just to get to know more people in the Colorado startup space. Eventually, I'll likely pitch here too to get some feedback on my startup and see what all you smarter people think of me.
Yeah. Thanks, Mitch. Who else? You want to give a quick introduction? Go ahead.
My name's Joe Graves. I work for a company called Now CFO. We're fractional accounting services and work with startups, just helping them get their finances and accounting in order. And I just like working with startups and learning more about what's going on in the area.
Cool. Thanks, Joe. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. All right. So now we do have a website, 1millioncups.com/Denver. This is where you can follow us, get a weekly newsletter as well. And on the website, we do post who's presenting each week. So if you need follow-up information on our presenters, go to our website. Before we have our presenter for today, just want to let you know that they're here for your feedback. So during the presentation, think of one piece of feedback or one question you can have, because the more interaction we have, the better this event is. As well, if you have a lot of feedback, a lot of questions, please limit yourself to like 1 or 2 thoughts per time, and I'll come back to you later on. And I need to update this slide. So let's move on to our presenter, which is Big Sessions Music. Big Session Music is a video conference software built for music lessons, plus tools to run a music lesson business. Birthed out of Big Sessions Therapy, Big Sessions Music gives teachers amazing tools to enhance their online lessons. Let's give a big round of applause to Eric. Clap, 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 clap. And I will get your slides up here.
The clicker's opposite. So who here first time again? You guys. So it's great to be here. My name's Eric, and I live in Colorado Springs, but I wanted to come up here and I wanted to talk to you about Blink Session Music to give, let me make sure I'm in the picture here for the Zoom, but I wanted to make sure I wanted to give you a overview of Blink Session Music and get your feedback on what we're doing. So, oh, wrong slide. There we go. Welcome to the post-COVID world. As this is the attitude of my kids last year, right? One more Zoom meeting that's run right now, one more video conference, right? But there's also possibilities. There's possibilities to not have to drive across town for your therapy, music lesson, doctor's appointment, whatever it might be. The consumer now understands how to do video conferencing. Who in this room during COVID did video conferencing in some form? Everybody, right? The consumer understands it, but the tech must evolve. This is the phone I used in 1998. I used this phone for 4 years. It was a great phone, but the experience was the same for anybody who used it. The experience was it made calls. That's it. There was no cases you could buy for it. There was no apps. But today, the phone companies, Apple, Android, have realized that everybody wants a different experience with their mobile device. They want apps. They want to have a different case because they have different needs, right? The video conferencing software you use matters. It matters because we're all trying to achieve different things, but we're all still using the same tools. All right, so my slide's a little off there, but it says here that Blink Session, the therapy version, was founded in 2017. So we launched our first product, which was Blink Session for therapists, and mostly speech therapists. So my wife is a speech language pathologist. She owns her own company, and she wanted to do teletherapy. She wanted to be able to provide her services to people who live far away from her clinic. The problem was at that time, there was no software, there was no platform that would help her do speech therapy online. If you know anything about speech therapy, especially with kids, they're doing more than just having a chat. They're playing games, they're interacting over a worksheet or something. There's something interactive happening. And so she needed something. So that's what birthed this idea of Blink Session. Oh, I'm gonna go back to that one. So in 2020, during COVID, our company exploded. We went, between 2019 and 2020, we saw a 736% growth in revenue. So doing well on the therapy side. And of course, as COVID dips down, things have changed and it's crazy right now. But we wanted to expand beyond speech therapy, and we also serve ABA and a few other therapies. We wanted to look beyond that. And a natural fit for us was music. I've been a lifelong musician. I went to college for jazz studies. I've always been in music. That's actually my son there, and he's playing guitar there. He was doing online music lessons during COVID. Anybody here a musician or play an instrument? Great. So playing instruments, wanting to play an instrument is a ubiquitous thing. Many people want to learn the guitar, piano. Many people are involved in school music. So we thought, how can we take the tools that we have and apply them to that online music lesson? And this is what we did last July. We launched our Blink Session music version. We added a few features, but the good thing is we've already have this robust platform with all these features to be able to serve music lesson teachers and music studios and people doing those one-on-one lessons. So, and my text is a little screwed up here, but in our platform, you can load music. So if you look in these screenshots on the left side, you can load your music scores, tabs. You can load on the right side videos. You can load audio and assign all these things as homework. So you're really replicating what you would do in person. That student will come in and you're giving them a book. You're playing audio, whatever you're doing, you can replicate that. And you're doing all this without screen sharing, without having to use another piece of technology. Hi-fi audio is a big need for music lesson teachers. So we've handled that. We've provided the settings that are really easy to get to. And then all these other, what we call dashboard features. You can actually use our platform to run your whole business as a music lesson teacher or a studio or school. Create invoices, charge people, reminders, all these different things are built around serving people, not just in your community, but maybe in another part of the world. So the other part of our, says white label above there, but another part of our platform is white labeling. We sell to several companies that white label our product around their brand, and emails, everything, it appears as their platform. And so our vision is to not just sell to individual music lesson teachers, but it's to sell to a place like Guitar Center, Sam Ash Music, music retailers that currently, if you go into these stores, they have music lesson spaces. They want to bring in those teachers and cross-sell products. But the question is, how are they going to do that online? Well, right now, all they're doing is giving them Zoom link. They're not taking advantage of that opportunity to cross-sell to online music lesson teachers. So what we want to do is sell them our technology, sell them integrations with our API, that kind of thing. Our 12-month goal, we want to have more affiliate marketers. That's our main strategy for marketing. We need to have reviews completed. So we need this ground level spread of our people liking our product, brand awareness, and then we have a free version. It's a freemium option. We need to have 1,000 free signups. That's what we're looking for. And then here's our needs. I'm going to get into that later because at the end, I think we'll do the ask. So I'll get into that later. So I just want to take your questions now. If there's anything I didn't cover that you would like to know about Blink Session Music, what our goal is and what we're trying to do. Yeah, round of applause. Thank you.
Go ahead and actually bring up your ask for the audience, because I think we can go both into feedback, questions, and kind of what you want feedback on exactly too. Right. So go ahead and talk about what you're looking for.
I have two things here. So we aren't, like I said, this is a new division for us. This is I say that because we're not a startup in the classic sense that we don't have revenue, right? So we have the revenue from our therapy side, but we are looking, the number one thing we need is people in the music industry, especially the music education industry, to be influencers for us. That's critical. If you know somebody who teaches lessons, who influences people who are musicians, band director, whatever it might be, we need those people. And then we're considering investments from VCs, especially as a strategic move, not just in a financial move, but as a partnership almost as, hey, I have connection to this audience, right? And we need exposure. That's what it is. That's what we've learned from our therapy side is we need influencers and we need exposure more than just money. So.
And in terms of the audience here, what do you want feedback on? Presentation, the product idea, marketing, anything more focused you want feedback on?
Yeah. This is a little unique because, if you guys were customers, I wouldn't be talking the same way, or potential customers wouldn't be talking the same way. But imagine you were either a VC or an influencer. What about my presentation was, did you not get the main point of what we're trying to do and the potential? That's really, think like that. Think like a VC or influencer, because those are the people I want to be able to communicate with. So.
I'm going to apologize for the slides. It might have been my fault for the slides being off. We went from PowerPoint to numbers, and I think it adjusted things. So don't nitpick him on that. You can nitpick me. All right. Go ahead. Thank you for presenting today. Just one question. Could you describe more the competitive advantage of Blink Session versus Zoom?
Right. So, competitive advantage of the person using it. Are you talking about the teacher or, okay. So like I said, today we think of video conferencing as video conferencing. In other words, we think of it as a neutral thing that I just use Skype, I use WebEx, I use whatever. And that those are neutral things, and that I add whatever else I want to it. And that's what Zoom wants you to think, right? The problem is that it becomes very complex. So the advantage with our, it's when you're trying to do complex things. Right now, we're not doing something complex with our meeting here. We're just talking and we're showing a slide. But when you get into doing music lessons, there's more to it. Metronomes, tuning, all kinds of things. And so the advantage is I can take a teacher that might have previously used 3 to 4 different software packages and combine them all into one. That's the main advantage. Go ahead, Judge. Over on the right.
Is there an input directly to the computer or to avoid distortion from speakers if somebody doesn't have like a high quality laptop with okay.
Well, yeah, I got your question. So your question is primarily about audio quality, right? How do you deal with these problems that can happen?
I could see Zoom being the problem, right? Because it's just in hearing people's voices, sound doesn't come out correctly. So I'm just curious, how are you able to get around that and get around the sound quality?
So this is where we shine, because your question, it's an educational question. It's not just a software question. And we've learned this over 4 years of dealing with speech therapists and we actually, under our health brand, we have a telehealth.training offering where we offer training to people to understand their technology and staff and everything. But what we've learned is that the niche we're in is not just selling you software, it's selling you training to understand, and maybe not even selling you training, to giving you training to help you understand the things that affect the audio. So yes, we have the things that make the audio better, but we can't overcome a bad microphone, right? And so Zoom is completely hands-off. They're just a big company. Nobody knows anything. There's no training. There's no understanding. So what we do is we combine. We found as people respond to training, videos, content that is specific to what they're doing. And so that's how we handle that. We combine the training with the technology we're using. Does that answer your question? Kind of went in a different direction, but
No, go ahead.
Courtney.
So my question is, are you a music teacher? I know you shared your kids at the beginning, but if I were an influencer taking on that hat, I would want to know what other people have said about it. So some kind of testimonials. I think also to show what you've done on the software side, it might be a good idea to do like version 1, version 2, version 3. And like, we've been listening, we've gotten this feedback and we've changed. We've gotten this feedback and we've changed. So I can see that you've been doing this a minute and you're going places. It's nice to know that you did the therapy one. And that was successful and that you have seen market success and you know what you're doing. That provided some credibility. But I would want to know what other teachers are saying and get like that social proof.
Totally. Yeah. Adding something in there as we get more feedback and saying, we've added this, we've tweaked that. I totally get it.
I'd almost add that to some of your goals, maybe internally, is to make sure that you actually have use cases because those kinds of stories will stick with people longer. They want to be like those stories. Right now, I'm just hesitant to change my technology if I were an influencer. I'm like, Zoom kind of works. Why would I do that? And so if someone else is doing it, if all the cool kids are doing it, I'm probably more willing to do it.
Well, that's right. Into totally tracking with you, but one of our main things is getting those affiliates and reviews. So totally tracking, but on the presentation side,
and even if you can just find 2 friends, it doesn't even have to be official or anything big, but you need somebody who's like, I've been teaching music for 12 years and this revolutionized my practice and allowed me to grow it by 10% or something like in the first 5 days. I don't know.
That's a great one. That would really get people's attention at the beginning. Totally. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And mostly feedback.
That's awesome. All right.
Yeah. Kind of also on the competition, I was curious because you mentioned like with speech pathology, there really wasn't anybody else doing it. They weren't providing the tools in the games. With this market, I know there's sites like Flowkey, which is like specific to piano, but it's got a nice user interface. They don't have the one-on-one. It's not lessons. So like you're offering more, but I think an investor would then like to see you compare yourself to existing apps like that in the space.
Okay.
And show like you're
existing people selling tech to the existing audience. Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right.
So kind of going off of Courtney's feedback too, afterwards we learned who you were, kind of the feedback you were looking for, influencers and those guys are concerned about how do they make money. And investors wanted too. So if this was a pitch towards that, then your photos of your kid, even though it's endearing, it's better to, that it's not you and you make the presentation more commercial. Those influencers want to know that you're stable because then they're going to build their business on you. So, so targeting your presentation towards your audience and knowing who your audience is
What do you mean by stable? Like, I'm curious.
So if I'm an influencer,
Yeah.
I want to know that I'm going to be sharing your product with people, my people.
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of time building my people.
Right.
And I'm not going to send them to a shack in the woods to get mugged, you know?
Right.
So I'm not going to send them. So the level of your layout, your branding, that all matters if you're going to be targeting influencers. If you mean influencers like some granny lady who teaches piano, then you just have to make it stupid easy for her to do it because she's a granny lady teaching piano.
Right.
But if you're teaching to, I know Ron, the CEO of Guitar Center. And if I were to introduce you to him, I would need your presentation way dialed in.
Right.
Right now, I'd say he just would not be interested.
Well,
you know?
right. And I'm not.
But
I don't know why you
I know
are
Ron, so I'm
criticizing
just
this, but
giving you feedback as
yeah,
far as
no,
like
we can
how-
talk later about that because that's this audience is not him, and so the presentation for him would not be this presentation. So
true, but you asked for that feedback.
No, but I'm tracking with you. So, anybody else have a question about? Do you guys understand what the product is? Yeah.
I guess one question I have in terms of like, you know, could this be, sorry to rephrase my thought in my brain. Could this be used for other education, right?
Yeah.
Like, and how would that work, right? Like, can you crush a geography class with this? Because let's be real, like kids are going to be in and out of school for the next year or so. And I feel like that's an area that might be interesting to lean into.
Yeah. And where I live, to answer your question too and get more into it, is the world me and my people live in is really the trenches and understanding what works and doesn't. We're not great at the bigger picture of doing sales all day because we have spent the last 4 years refining our product to be the best it could possibly be, right? And now we're thinking, how can we market this better, right? So what we have learned is people need specific products. And so we know exactly what our product will be best at, and we don't try to go beyond that. So if it's what we've learned is that Zoom does well with bigger groups, but we're not focused on that because there's already things that are focused on that. And so our niche is small groups or one person. And even our homework feature, for example, we have is based on assigning homework to an individual, not to a class. So I always tell customers in sales, like there's a lot of things that are possible, but there's only a few things that are optimal. So that's kind of where we live. And any other questions?
I think maybe whiskey has.
No, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got up for a second. I thought maybe you had something to say.
Yeah.
I think I more or less understand the product. I thought it was a really good pitch, and it seems like a really cool product.
Yeah.
The only thing that I guess one thing I didn't quite understand enough was the problem that musicians are facing being a non-musician, because you jumped and you started talking about like Zoom and the technology and how it needs to evolve, then jumped right into the product. And I think maybe it'd be beneficial if you talked about like as a musician, why Zoom, you know, the frustration that using just a Zoom causes, and then like how yours then lead that into like how yours solves that, because it went to like Zoom is great, needs to evolve, boom, our product, and so it didn't really like so someone who's not
and I know exactly what you mean, and I think you're going to learn this. Like doing this in 6 minutes is really hard because you're like I'm trying to deal with the end user, but also the business part of it, and so I totally get you because I want to create that pain point in our sales too. The pain point for the Guitar Center guy is completely different than the end user, and that's what we've learned with the therapy people is you can't have the same presentation to the two different audiences, and this is a combined presentation. So anything else, feedback? Yeah.
Go here.
Just on this slide, a couple pieces of feedback. I would remove the word possible and possibly split that second bullet point up into two.
Oh, yeah.
So I would specify how much you're asking for, whether it's 100,000, 200,000.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet. So maybe.
And then state where you use that investment. Is that going into a marketing budget? And then splitting it up into two, I would say the third point would be looking for strategic connections in the industry. They could be kind of separate as well.
Yeah, I get what you're saying is being much more specific And I'm here because we're not very specific on that. And I really want to get feedback on, well, I just want to meet people and see where we can go with this. So
feedback I would have, you mentioned it's hard to address both parties. And
correct, yeah.
I think you can address that by just having a good story of the product. And this would be our initial, our ideal user, this is the problem they're going through, you use our product, and the other party then gets shown through your story, like how it all connects.
Okay, yeah, like the life cycle, just adopting the product, how it changes your life.
Like what's the problem, and here's the solution, and here's all the parties that get involved with it
Awesome
as
beard
well.
guy, I forgot, I didn't get your name right here. Yeah, just, yeah, you had one more point?
To kind of build on and then build on as well.
Yeah.
You know, a real good graphic is just a chart, because I do think you say Zoom a lot. So then comparing the qualities of Zoom and your qualities and do the little check mark thing. It's dumb, but it creates a clear visual that we get it. And we go like, okay, wow, you do these other things.
Yeah, and we have that on the therapy side, but I didn't think about it. Yeah. What's your name?
Brendan.
Brendan, okay.
How's it going?
Yeah.
I just had a question. How do you really foresee like users on this? Because one of the things I kind of thought about as an investor, you kind of mentioned for like the next year and a half, schools will kind of be in and out, and that could be difficult. But if I'm an investor, a year and a half doesn't mean a lot to me. But one thing that I could see is, you know, people who maybe wanted to learn an instrument and never did, now they have careers, and this is something that they can do after work, after hours, that can go for forever. So I guess your target audience of people that would actually be using this, I guess, who do you foresee the most?
So right now, our business model is to sell to teachers or actual people selling the lessons. So we're B2B in that respect. We want to capitalize on the fact that the world is shifting towards especially a combination model. So like the Guitar Center example, people are going in to do their lessons in the studio or in the store, but they also might do them over video conference too. So our buyer is going to be the person providing the lesson. That doesn't mean we're not open to other ideas though. So go ahead. If you have them, we'll take them.
No, I was just wondering, like, if you're trying to sell to the people, you know, why are they buying this? You know,
the proposition,
right?
Yeah, the proposition. Yeah, and the proposition is that, you know, and if you look on our website, it says because virtual music lessons are more than a video chat. The proposition is that, hey, do you want higher quality for your music lessons? Do you want it to run more streamlined? Do you want your students to do better? You got to use more tools than just having Skype. That's the amateur way. This is the professional way. This is the best way to do it. That's the proposition right now. So, and we're working on tweaking that to get more spread. We want to have an idea that a way to present this, that it's automatic, like, wow, I got to be using this and I got to tell my friends about it. So
I guess I would put something in there, because I just see that as a very big possibility of people that always want to learn an instrument and just don't have the time. This is something that you can give to the instructors and say, this is a whole new audience that you can reach.
Yeah, and what you're talking about is cold versus warm. And what we've learned is in our health side is we just don't spend much time on people who are already adopted into online learning or online therapy, because then we're trying to accomplish two goals. We're trying to convince them to do it, and then we're trying to convince them to use our product. So we've learned that you got to focus on the people who already want to do things online and then using our product. So anything else?
This is just a psychology thing, and it's more on your personal presenting style, which we're all working on because we just had a year of doing it virtually and now we're doing it in person.
Yeah.
But it might be helpful to take the microphone down when people are speaking to you, because you look like you've already got an answer to the feedback I'm providing.
I know.
Which you
I'm doing it right now, damn it.
You are. So just as someone who can stand up in the face of that and watching people as they give their feedback, they're a little nervous to give you feedback because we're trying to help. Yeah. And we're assuming you already have had the idea of this solution. What we're trying to help you do is validate it. and say, you know, like Joe did, if you do have that chart, I would include it. If you do have that, I would include it. This is something that would have been valuable to me. So we're just trying to help.
No,
but if you already have the answer, or you start talking when I'm still talking, it probably won't help with the feedback piece. And you know, anyone who's going to invest in you, either if they're an influencer or an investor, is someone who is coming into a relationship with you. So being open to that relationship is just a presentation style thing that a slight tweaking might make you more approachable and make people want to go on this journey with you and learn about it and get excited and know more about you because you care about who you are and the company you founded.
Yeah,
that's all.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And that's something I got to work on, because what it is I'm thinking way ahead of what people are saying, and then, which I do well on a one-on-one, but you're right. It's difficult. Right. Especially in this environment, I wouldn't be a good, I wouldn't be a good politician. Not good.
Yeah. That's a different event. We have time for a couple more questions. Feedback. I'll try and get there.
One quick thing, I don't know if you guys consider this. So since everyone is so familiar with Zoom and comfortable Zoom, and like every student has used Zoom forever, have you guys looked into the Zoom apps feature that they just launched and considered potentially building like an app that plugs into Zoom? So then those teachers can just send a Zoom link, but they have your application built into Zoom. And so it's very familiar to the students, and then all your back-end stuff still runs the way it does without having to have them download a new, or without having the students having to try like a new barrier to entry. Is that something you guys have looked into?
No. And I wish I could. The problem is that doesn't solve the problem of I have to use two systems. And also Zoom, like the layout, there's so many problematic things with it for music and therapy that we're better than Zoom. So then I could give you testimonies of therapists, but I wish I could, because I know, I wish I could do that, because the network effect would be great. But go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, the app like builds your stuff into Zoom, right? That's what it does. So it's not like it, so it puts your features, like the front and the back end, within Zoom's interface. So I don't know how it works exactly. I guess that would be up for you guys to build, but just something I was curious if you guys had looked into.
Yeah, and I think I said, actually Adobe Connect had that years ago, and they had that ability. But then, number one, you're still dependent on Zoom. Your whole business is. But it's a struggle. Honestly, if I could achieve my financial goals doing it, I would do that. But also I have a commitment to my customers to offer them the best technology, and offering them Zoom for what we're doing is not the best option. So anything else?
Last question. Who wants it? Nobody. All right, John,
go ahead.
I'm just going to piggyback on what he said. I mean, I know you said that your team's more focused on like the details and how it works, but you know, if this can help drive adoption, and then you can drive people from Zoom to your product, and say that, you know, this is where you're really going to get it, it still might be worth considering.
Yeah, and like I said, it's hard to say your whole marketing is based around not using Zoom to now. But what we want to do is build integrations with corollary technology that people are using. So if they're using some music app or something, and then say, hey, we integrate with that, that's where we would be. So.
Final question, and you stated this before, but let's just summarize it. What, as a community, can we do for you? That should be here somewhere, but it's not. So I'll just say it.
Yeah, I mean, you've already done it. Honestly, this feedback, even though some of it's hard and it burns my ego, it's really good. All of it is good. I mean, I haven't done this in years, so it's great. I think, like I said, what I need is connections, and I live in the trenches, right? I live in the trenches of customers. I don't live in the trenches of investors and even influencers, any of these people. My sales guy does all that stuff, but business development guy does that. So I've always said I concern myself with customers, with selling product and making money. I don't concern myself with and pleasing investors. And so I needed a little recharge back to what is this world? How do you approach, how do you present your overall business? And so that's been good. But if you guys have any connections to people that are interested in creative new things, especially in the music space, that would be awesome. So
Awesome. Let's give Eric a round of applause.
thank you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Great job. I'll take the clicker too. Appreciate it. Then we have some extra time, and this gives an opportunity for us to give you guys some more education. We have Joseph. He's going to give a quick presentation on should you even start a startup. Give on applause to Joe.
So this is probably a weird topic to talk about here because this is kind of all inclusive. It's a vulnerable spot. But have you watched American Idol, saw a person get up on stage or in front of the judges and just utterly botch it? And their mom is just like, but they were the best and the judges don't understand. I love you, dear, So sometimes we surround ourselves with a room full of mirrors and that's good. It's good to be vulnerable. And I highly encourage you to get out and do your, give it a shot. In this startup space, there is plenty of reasons why you should not start a startup. One, odds are all of us will fail. And that's hard to recover from. That's a tough thing you really put yourself out there. There's a lot of stories out there of this is your baby, this is your, you've put your everything into it. You've maxed out your credit cards, you're in debt, you've hit up your entire family, you've pulled money from friends, families, you've gotten in front of investors, you've sold people on that idea too. And odds are it probably will fail. It's not being mean, it's just a fact of startups. It's a fact of small businesses, which is why most small businesses fail within 5 years. That all being said, it's good to bounce back. It's good to learn to take that failure and move forward, learn from it, evolve, pivot, change. Don't get stuck on your startup. Take your startup, use it as part of your journey. If this is in your blood and this is what you do, then take that trip, don't consider it a fall, and learn from the next one. I have registered, I think now I'm at the 15th registered business. I've got dozens of businesses that never got to the LLC, C Corp, or S Corp level. I am currently, I've raised over $1 million in past startups, and I'm currently raising for another startup. So this idea that you're maybe a one-trick pony, that this is all you've got, and then you might have to go back to the job force afterwards. I would highly encourage people, startups, learn, pivot, adjust, take feedback from rando people. And should you even start a startup, it's going to take chops. You're going to have bumps and bruises. You probably will fail. Should you start a startup? Yes. And you guys are already here, so I'm speaking to, friendly ears here, but join a community. Get heavily involved in the community. Help other people in the community because they will also help you. So if you have any questions, I'd be open to answer. Sure.
So I'll be totally transparent. It's pretty humbling to hear you're going to fail 3 times in about a 5-minute period. So for those of us who don't want to fail, what advice would you give to us to avoid that outcome?
Get used to you're going to fail.
No, sorry, but explain, please.
No, I know it hurts. It's never easy, but this is why you go to batting practice. This is why NBA and every professional sports athlete spends more time practicing than game time. So they Michael Jordan failed at more of his shots than he actually made. He attempted more than anybody else. So this idea.
Sorry, when you said fail, I assumed like fail done over, not fail done on to the next. Like fail, pivot, recover, go on. So which failure, failure is it? Apologies to those on Zoom.
Yes, fail, done, fail, move forward, all of the above. Last year, I was in Tulum. My developer had hijacked our platform, and my attorney was like, well, let's bend to his will. And I was like, he has leverage over me because he thinks that's the only thing I've got. I've got 5 more tech platforms behind it. I've got options. So businesses and entrepreneurs get crushed and can't rebound when they feel like they've got no other option. Like this is their only thing. And if I don't hit that target, then I'm out. But there's a lot of paths to that target. Pivoting doesn't always mean giving up on that core idea. Pivoting can be, how do you get to that goal? Pivoting could mean, hey, we thought that was the goal, but it's not. And all of your major tech platforms have done that. Ford Motor has changed their logo several times. They changed their tagline because they pivot. So yes to both.
Right.
It's painful, but you'll grow better.
Let's actually give Joseph a round of applause. If you have follow-up questions for him, we'll hang out and you can ask him those. We want to do some key announcements. Anybody have any events they're hosting or attending that they want to share with neighbors here?
I'll be doing a event here actually on Tuesday, August 31st. It's a financial literacy workshop. It's no cost, and we'll probably have some food and beverages here. So it's called Women in Finance, Investing in Mutual Funds. So it'll be based all around mutual funds, how they work, the pros and cons of that particular type of investment. So everyone's welcome.
Just guys, let you know here in Green Spaces, since you're here for Women Cups, you can hang out for the whole day. We do have yoga from 2 to 3. Another organizer, Allie, she's going to be hosting the yoga session. So if you want to attend that, she'll be here at 2 o'clock as well. And we'll keep on trucking, then. We'll be here again next week, September 1st, here at Green Spaces. I should really put who's going to be presenting next week. I'll do it next week. And just want to let you guys know, it's great if you can spread the word to your friends. Word of mouth is the best way for us to grow. We have our website, so if anybody's interested in presenting, tell them to go to our website to apply to present. And you can also follow us on our social medias as well. Quick reminder, you guys are awesome. I really appreciate that you guys show up every week. I show up, and thankfully you guys as well. I just want to remind you guys, you're awesome. Keep on being awesome. And thank you so much for your support. And the last part is another pun. Why should you not lie to an X-ray technician? Exactly. Good job, whoever got that. Round of applause. You got my pun. Perfect. And the last part, we're going to hang out here for another half an hour or so connect, get to know each other. There's swag if you want to take a coffee cup or sticker or mugs. If you want to stay here for the day and work, just check in with Holden in the front. And that's it. So round of applause for coming out, and we'll see you guys next week.
Take my broken body, take all of me. Take all of me.
Yeah, take it all. Ain't no way I can break it off. Girl, girl, is you really down to pay the cost? Reverse the role, you can play the boss. Already know my vision is faded. I try to evade it, but can't. I know you far from a saint, but I keep lying to me, cause I've been dying to me, and it feel like I follow you out in the street, and I promise you all that I know. Everywhere that my mind goes, elevated, heart strong, but my head faded. Way back when we first dated, I'm gone now. Had to go cause I'm on now. When my intuition got me in the mission, we see eye to eye, but you ain't in my vision. Oh no, I said oh no. Back in the day, I used to say, a girl like you, I used to pray for days for. Now I'm out here like way more. What the fuck would I stay for? Why the fuck would I pay for something that's just gonna kill me? Nikki, I'm still me, but I'm just better. It's been 6 months since we touched last, but I grow fast with this letter, and I swear to God that I'm better.
Blow your smoke to fire at the mirror. Write our name in hearts, baby, I can see that you're into me. I need your touch, yeah, I need your fever. Take my broken body, take all of me. Take all of me. We said we didn't know how to feel, but we were living high, living high. You said you didn't want anything real, but it was in your eyes, in your eyes. Driving after midnight, chasing down the moonlight. You said you didn't know how to dream, but you were living light, living light. Don't let me forget. Love could be just like this. Don't let me forget the days of California sunset. Feels like yesterday. Your hands on my face. Don't know where you've been or if you've changed, but love could be just like this. We said we didn't know how to feel, but we were living high, living high. You said you didn't want anything real, but it was in your eyes, in your eyes. Driving after midnight, chasing down the moonlight. You said you didn't know how to dream, but you were living light, living light. Don't let me forget that love could be just like this. Don't let me forget the feels like yesterday. Your hands on my face. Don't know where you've been or if you've changed, but love could be just like this. Love could be just like this.
Thank you.